I welcome you all in a meeting which is relatively a very new topic, rather a topic which has been marginalized in the matter of the woman and their contributions in agriculture sector and their businesses. Though we have what we have been seeing the role of the woman is always predominantly taken over by the woman than the man. Though the gender bias, because the gender bias, we are not able to give two benefits what normally a woman folk should have got in promoting agriculture and agriculture businesses. I will be just sharing a chart with you that is basically gross value addition of the agriculture and what is the contributions in the total economy of our country. It is in 2015 and 16, when we share the gross value addition of agriculture and allied sectors in the GVA of the total economy. It is almost agriculture from sector, it is 17.7. From 16 and 17, it's 18. And 17 and 18 is 18%. 17.1, what that means, there has been a marginal drop about 0.9%. It is an 18, 19, it has come down to the 17%, 17.1%. And 19 and 19, what are the statistics available is 17.8 going up. What that means, whatever the value added is to the agricultural economy, it is significantly increasing over the years, and the value is being added by the one way or other way by always the woman folk in one form and the other form, especially in agriculture, in the cultivation sector, as well as in the livestock sector, which is significantly and predominantly being taken over by the woman folk. In women in India, what normally we are seeing almost it's 50-50, if we will say that in terms of the sex ratio, men and women, but there is a significantly a drop, which is a matter of concern in the proportion to the men population. In under 2020, the sex ratio total population of India, it is almost 108.18 males per 100 females. But that means that men are significantly in higher numbers than in comparison to the females. There are almost 717.10 million males in comparison to 662.1 million females in India. But that means that predominantly this is simply showing that the males are maintaining a superiority over the generations and in comparison to the female. The percentage of the female population in India is almost 48.08%. Women in agriculture, but that means that we are just seeing the rule. Our economy is rural-based economy, and it's all mostly it's 75% of the people are dependent on agriculture in one way or other way, directly or indirectly. And the contribution, the total contribution of the woman in agriculture is almost 30.33% of the total cultivators, which are exclusively handled by the woman folk, and 40.67% of the agricultural laborers are women. What that means, if the labor maintained by our women folk, that means it is a huge and significant contribution by our women in agriculture and allied sectors. If it is to be quantified, what that means almost a 40 and 45% significantly contribution is being made to the woman in production, productivity, and finally its economy. What that means 40% of the economy of the woman is 40% of the economy of the agrarian economy is being generated and maintained by our women folk, which is a very huge contribution. But unfortunately, it's always being marginalized because of our gender bias. Only 13.95% of the total operational holdings are operated by the woman. Source, it is agriculture census of the 0.15 year 16. What that means during the year 15 or 16, whatever the agriculture census, 0.95% of the operational holdings are operated by the woman. What that means, proprietary rights of the land all the land holding sciences, all the agriculture businesses is being operationally held by only a at the marginal level by 13.95%. Those should have been much more than as per the estimates and as per their involvement in the agriculture and allied sectors. Which are normally vague, the women make essential contributions to agriculture and rural economic activities in all the developing countries. What that means, as a matter of the general principle, women make essential contributions to agriculture and rural economic activities in all the developing countries. What that means, India is one of the major developing countries which normally is going to be developed by the year 2030, and inshallah, and we'll be just attaining the 5 trillion economy, and the contribution of the woman in agriculture and other allied sectors, or else in the non-agricultural sectors, and from the woman, it is going to be very, very huge. And because of the equality rights given to the woman, and otherwise truly deserving it, that their contributions is becoming significant and predominantly being done and maintained by our women folk. Women are the backbone of any developed society. The central role of the woman in any society ensures stability, progress, and long-term development of the nation. Because we are in a mood that the woman, which normally are always Almighty's blessings have been that they are always in compassion, full of compassion, and the commitment and their honesty always makes the role overwhelmed and rather the sustainable in recorded and reported because of the nature of the woman and their compassion and their commitment towards the cause. Women have different opportunities. Women have different opportunities and challenges to the different gender roles and responsibilities of women in their daily lives. Because we know women always are in different roles, either as a mother or as a sister or as a homekeeper, wherein varied roles are being assigned to the woman, and they do it with all perfection, with all huge magnitude of success is being always labeled to the woman. Had not been the woman, I don't think the world could have sustained in any format. So therefore, and their role cannot be ignored in any of the sector wherein they are in. It's a gender bias. In agriculture, we are finding it always predominantly, it is being a primary agriculture sector, primary focus is being given to only one gender, because the physical sector, what we normally attribute to one gender, that means males, that they are physically very stout and strong, but without understanding the mental strength of the woman, that they are always proving that they are, if not equal, but not less than the man. Man is dominant decision maker of this industry and benefit seekers of the policies. But now the policies of the government, Indian government, is always changing and making a paradigm shift all from one gender to the another gender. What that means, all women are being now included in the various policy makings, so that major this decisions, whatever are to be taken, that will go in favor of the woman for generating the enthusiasm, for generating the work output, for generating the precision in agriculture and agriculture sectors. The kind of farming men practice is highly involved and commercially active, geared towards domestic and international markets. Now we are, previously what it used to be, farming men used to geared up and would go always and toss towards the international markets in terms of businesses. But now the women are making the huge contributions in this sector also, wherein we are finding them highly motivated and involved in various sectors, wherein they are becoming the major source of businesses, major source of input which is to be given to the for sippening the business in the favor of their men. Agricultural sector as a whole has developed and emerged immensely by empowering men with the technology. But I personally feel it now the technology has shifted and the gender bias has been removed and women-friendly tools, implements, and machines are being developed, which normally are being exclusively handled by the woman in generating the enthusiasm in the agricultural operations. Now let us understand what is the status of the woman in India. But this emergence is incapable of lifting the state of the women labor as an integral part of the country. In the developing country, it provides 55% of the employment in the country, out of which a good number of workforce is shared by women. Role of women in this sector cannot be ignored as they comprise 33% agricultural labor force and 48% of the self-employed farmers. This is something a very huge. In developing countries in India, agriculture continues to absorb and employ female workforce, but fail to give them the recognition of an employed or a hired labor. Women constitute 38% of the agricultural labor force in the developing nations. It is also estimated that 45.3% of the labor force consists of the women only. But that means they are comparable to their men counterpart and generate same amount of results what normally the men are producing. But that means there's a very, very little and marginal improvement, superiority of the men or the woman, marginal, and this will also be always be in the favor of the country, and wherein 50% of the women and the men are becoming directly contributors for any precision or a productive farming. Rural women work in farm, handles the responsibility, and also does her household activity. So that means the multifarious activities are being carried out by the woman apart from working in the farm. But that means their input is much more than the men who otherwise are exclusively dependent on their homes in the women folk, in preparation of the foods, in maintenance of the livestock, and also the poultry, and also in the backyard industry, but normally is required for the maintenance of the livestock and the poultry. Women play a dominant role in livestock production and poultry, which I have already told you. With the increase, the rural men migrate to the cities for better opportunities. Women silently adorn many roles in agriculture sector, from homemaker to the laborer to the cultivator and even entrepreneur. Roles of the woman in India is changing very rapidly in India. Women have started to play, because value chain normally we will find in the poultry, value chain we will find in the dairy, value chain we will find in the agriculture, value chain and in the vegetable production, mushrooms, in normally whatever the value addition is being added to the agricultural produce, for it is increasing the lasting shelf life, and also increasing the value that normally is being dominantly is taken care by the women folk. But henceforth they become more an entrepreneur than a farmer, than also a cultivator, though predominantly they are cultivators, they are farmers, they are laborers, and also now a new role is being recognized as an entrepreneur in adding a value to the agricultural product, for it is sustainability and also for economic high returns. Their activity typically include producing agricultural crops, tending animals, processing, preparing food, collecting fuel, water, caring for family members, and maintaining their homes. So that means clearly a woman is in every sphere where his role cannot be labeled as a marginalized, but it is totally focused, committed, full of compassion, and also full of commitment in maintaining all other activities other than agriculture crops, other than tending animals, processing, preparing food, collecting fuels, which normally happens to be in her job charts. Time use survey across a wide range of countries estimate that women provide 85 to 90% of the time spent on the household foods preparation, and they also are usually responsible for child care and household chores because of the poor infrastructure, limited provision of the public services. What that means, the role of the woman in agriculture and allied sectors and also in the homekeeping is of highest magnitude, which normally no one can compete in this sector and segment, and so generate always a huge returns for their families, and also overall contribute in a big way to the agriculture and allied sectors. Besides domestic activities, women are working or looking for work in formal and informal jobs and in paid or unpaid employment in agriculture. They include self-employment, women as well as women working on families. Evidences show, however, that female farmers are largely excluded from the modern contract farming arrangements because they lack secure control over lands, family labors, and other resources required to guarantee delivery of a reliable flow of the produce. Normally now the things are changing very rapidly in favor of the women. Now they are in command and control of their proprietary rights in case of land, and also maintain a good resource to guarantee delivery of for reliable flow of the produce into the markets. Because when you will change the woman, you are obviously going to change the landscape of that area. Women comprises 40, I already told you that women comprise 43% of the agricultural labor force on an average in developing countries. This figure ranges from around 20% in Latin America to 50% in parts of Africa and Asia, but it exceeds 60% in only a few countries. That's Food and Agriculture Organization in 2010. It is a survey of them which normally is being presented before you. But a large number of the women still remain as invisible contributors, because normally nobody wants to give a contribution, but normally is being displayed or being made by the ladies only because gender bias, but they are visible contributors in every sector under the because of our orthodox cultural inhibitions, wherein we would like to just ignore the contributions which normally is being made by our women, but it is now being understood and evaluated that women in agriculture and allied sectors are the biggest contributors in various forms of the agriculture, wherein from the production to the fork is being generated and maintained and managed by women folk, which generates huge economic interests in various agriculture fields, wherein a remarkable economic changes are occurring or taking place only because of the contribution for the women folk. Their employment, though is seasonal and is provisional, adding up to all sorts of uncertainties in their income cycle, but yet the number of these invisible contributors goes up year after year. About 80% of the economically active women in India are employed in agriculture sector. But that means a huge contribution. Increase the productivity of the intervention should be made. Women include women-centric loans for small-scale businesses, women-driven entrepreneurial opportunities are the need of the day for rural India. What that means, our policy and planners, what normally are thinking that role of the woman cannot be marginalized, but are predominantly are to be given a due space in our system of agrarian-driven economy, wherein entrepreneurial opportunities ought to be given, ought to be created, ought to be ensured for women in the need of our rural India, if we want our stable and sustainable income from our agriculture landscape. Women-centric agriculture extension efforts would allow them to shift their efforts in the right direction and establish their credibility in the rural society. What that means, our farmers and women farmers, as well as the policymakers and the thinkers, always see that their role is to be highlighted in every sector, in which predominantly will establish the credibility in generating the huge incomes out of the agriculture operations, which normally they are taking place, whether it is regarding the apiculture, whether it is the mushroom cultivation, whether it is main crops, whether it is poultry, whether it is livestock management, milk, sweets, making value additions. So thereby their role is being always established, is always being recognized, and is being appreciated all across by everyone and everyone in the society. When these women get empowered with opportunities, choices to make with regard to the career, only then society will get liberated and economy will grow with momentum. What that means, if the woman in every sector of which is related to the agriculture would be given the freedom in exercising their policies, in exercising their plans, in generating their income, and having a financial, will be having the financial inclusiveness, which definitely will help their economic conditions to get established or elevated in their own way, will definitely liberate the woman in this agriculture sector for maximizing their production and productivity, and will develop huge enthusiasm and interest in taking only then food security will become a reality, and further prospects for the current and future of the woman in rural society will get evolved. Today, many countries tend to pay more attention to the agriculture sector than even before. Indian government has also created policies understanding the role of the woman in agriculture and economy. That I have already told you, that if we have to evolve as a complete society, as a compact society, which normally would contribute or will contribute in a big way in the agriculture sector. The role of the woman is always to be understood and to be appreciated and to be evolved, and the policies and plans are which will benefit the woman in deriving the maximum returns for the agriculture. Normally they are involved, they are to be given due priority. Government has also started implementing various schemes to improve the entitlements of the women farmers, which aim to bridge the policy gaps that exists in that sector. Which normally I've already told you that agriculture sector predominantly, previously I should say, it was gender bias, where men will always take the lead role. Now that lead role is to be they are to be divested, and a due role, I should say, whatever normally as per the contributions is being made by the woman farmers, women cultivators, women entrepreneurs, is to be given to them for making this agriculture and allied sector more glamorous and more entrepreneurship and more entrepreneur efforts would be made, so that the maximum generation of the economic returns would be ensured for the good of the society. Critics argue that the labor force statistics underestimate the contribution of women to agricultural work. Because women are less likely to declare themselves as employed in agriculture, women are more likely than men to hold low wage, part-time seasonal employment, and they tend to be paid less even when their qualifications are higher than the men. But now that part is being addressed, and it used to be a previous where the exploitation of women because of their physical strength, they would be compared with the men. They were paid very less wages in comparison to men. Now it's always on the equal basis, and those opportunities ought to be given to women entrepreneurs for deriving the best from them for promoting, which normally will make the agriculture and allied sector as sustainable and economically sustainable for the larger benefits of our country and our countrymen. An estimated 2/3 of the poor livestock keepers, totaling approximately 400 million people, are women. The influence of the women is strong in the use of eggs, milk, and poultry meat for home consumption, and they often have control over marketing these products. And we might have seen it, rather we are just seeing it in the village, wherein we are finding women farmers who are rearing the poultry, who are getting the eggs, just selling it in the market again in a barter system. In exchange of that, they get some foodstuffs or anything, whatever they are to their liking, which normally generate huge interest in their businesses and also huge interest in their home affairs. In 2018, nearly 45 million people worldwide are directly engaged full-time or a part-time in the fishery primary sector, and 5.4 million of them are women. What that means, almost 12% of the total contributions normally in the fishery sector is coming from the women. While comprehensive data is not available on the sex disaggregated basis, case studies suggest that women may comprise up to 30% of total employment in the fisheries, including primary and secondary activities. What that means, it is more or less generated 30% of the women are nearly engaged in the primary and secondary sector of the fisheries sector, and not normally over here in the Kashmir, we are finding it only done by the ladies. Women contribute to both formal and informal forestry sectors in many significant ways, such as agroforestry, watershed management, tree improvement, and forest protection and conservation. Although women contribute substantially to the forestry sector, their roles are not fully recognized and documented. Their wages are not equal to those of men, and their working conditions tend to be poor. Although women are as good at farming as men, they are always behind men. Women control less land than men because of our own traditions and orthodox aptitude. Women own favor of the working animals needed in the farming. They also frequently do not control the income from the typically small animals they manage. Women farmers are less likely than men to use the modern inputs such as improved seeds, fertilizers, pest control measures, and mechanical tools. They also use less credit and often do not control the credit they obtain, so which normally inhibits them from the expansion. Now the situation is altogether getting changed because of a lot of awareness programs which are being held, where the women farmers are being empowered, and the credit facility is being promoting the business. The women as entrepreneurs, as the contributor, are making heavy contributions in the agriculture and allied sectors for their economic gains. Women undoubtedly have less education and less access to exchange services, which make it more difficult to gain access to and use some of the other resources such as land, credit, and fertilizer. These factors also prevent women from adopting new technology as readily as men do. But
sir, we lost your audio, sir.
It is now.
Hello. Hello.
This situation.
Sir. Hello.
Used to be.
Hello.
Normally, which helps them to adopt and establish the businesses for the longer run. Yes.
Sir, sometimes your voice is breaking, sir. Now it is okay. You can proceed, sir.
Okay.
Just take care of your network connection, sir.
Okay. All right. I'll be just taking care of it. Solid empirical evidence showed that the yield gap between the men and women averaged around 20 to 30%. If women farmers use the same level of resource as men on the land they farm, they would achieve the same yield levels. What that means, there is still the lack of awareness among the women, though a good attempt is being made to reach to the level of the man, but still there are a lot of opportunities still to go, wherein a woman have to scale up their production and productivity indexes for fomenting their resources for their level of increasing their fortunes, which normally they would generate out of the farming wherein they farm. Level achieved with the man would increase between 2.5 and 4%. Increasing production by the amount could reduce the number of undernourished persons. So that clearly is an indicator. That if female invest little, very little on the woman farming, that definitely is going to bring down the number of the undernourished people which in the person. What that means, a huge that normally exists between the woman farmer and man farmer, and if they will be brought at one level, obviously then output will get increased, level of the production will get increased, productivity will get increased, and undernourished people number will reduced. Closing the gender gap in agriculture yields could bring number down by as much of 100 to 150 million people across the world. What that means, if little investment, little awareness, little efforts would be made, and on our woman farming system definitely is going to reduce the number of the undernourished people and will help the world to be better place, would help the world to be better and would be sustainable for a longer years. The future of the India is changing, and India is been witnessing the biggest transfer of power not only in the metropolitan cities, but all seems a reality not so far away. That is, thank you very much. If anyone has a question regarding this,
thank you very much.
I am open to take the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
I will take up the questions from the participants now, sir. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen, sir?
Yeah, I have already stopped.
Okay. Can you on your camera now, sir? We'll check if the
yes.
is okay.
Sure. Just sure.
Yes, sir. Okay. I'll take up questions now, sir. The first question is, what are the challenges faced by women in the agricultural sector when it comes to starting and managing businesses?
In fact, the role of the woman is had been always marginalized and underestimated, though their contributions cannot be ignored. In every sector, it's not only in the agriculture sector, it's formal as well as informal sector. Agriculture all along, ever since the world has been, it has been always taken by the woman. But because of the gender bias, their role has been always marginalized and rather than ignored. Now that because of the education and the awareness campaigns are being held, the role is now predominantly being appreciated and is being evaluated, and is also being in a position wherein they can take the lead roles in becoming major entrepreneurs. If we will see around, even in the Bangalore, there had been so many ladies who have done exceptionally good, especially in case of the vegetable trading, in case of value addition industries, where in case very value is being added to any agricultural product and is being sent to the local markets with a big price tag. So that means though the challenge still remains there because of the certain orthodoxies normally are lagged in our society, but normally because education is now getting us away from those taboos normally which were associated with the ladies involvement in many of the sectors, especially the agriculture. Now challenges remain there, but education remains as a top priority, and awareness is always a focus area of the government, wherein the role of every woman farmer, woman cultivator, woman entrepreneur is being appreciated and lauded and are being penalized, and credit facilities, credit flow is being made and ensured so that they remain sustainable in agriculture business.
Okay. Can you provide examples of successful agri-businesses led by women and their impact on their communities?
Yes, I tell you, there had been one lady who had been very much involved. And that was her name was Ghazala. She was doing something very great in the lavender cultivation. And she had been exporting the lavender oil and a rose oil to the Gulf countries and were in fact creating a huge impact among us other women folk, and has created a group and who are all involved in the aromatic plant cultivation, while the lavender and the Bulgarian rose had been significantly contributing to TRPT, and almost they have earned, millions of rupees in their business fortune, and they are doing successfully very good. And many ladies in our Bangalore also, I remember one or two, I don't remember their name, they are also involved in this lavender cultivation and lavender oil sales. They have been our customers, they have been taking the lavender oil from this place and the Bulgarian rose oil from this place and making it and sending it to Dubai for the business generation. So Bangalore remains on a high end in floriculture. They are the biggest exporters because it is nearly to the Middle East and generating the huge income of the farmers. And the women farmers are coming forward as if not behind, but almost in the forefront.
Okay. How does women's participation in agri-businesses contribute to sustainable agricultural practices?
I have already told you them just in my presentation that it is almost contributing 40%. But that means production levels, if it is 40%, but that means huge sustainable production is going. If we will just only equate the role of the woman with the men 50%, your undernourished people, number of the undernourished people will come down drastically to the 100 billion people only across the world. But that means their contribution is very huge and it will be sustainable. Why not? So that means it is something very big. Contributions of the woman in agriculture farming would be definitely help the undernourished people to get their numbers drastically reduced. So that will be helping for the society which normally is undernourished, and they will be having a full meal. So it cannot be ignored. It cannot be ignored. Contributions from the woman is something very big and cannot be ignored.
Okay. One of our member, Mr. Mohan Rao, was asking, can individual women start saffron cultivation in controlled atmosphere with small operation in a container? How about marketing opportunities? Any valuable advice in marketing the same?
Agriculture basically is an open-end activity. It is not to be done under the controlled condition. Then the cost of the cultivation will be very huge. But if any woman farmer is doing, and her, I don't know what her basically the input cost is, but saffron remains a golden crop. It is always being sold at the high end. At the per kg, the rate of the saffron is almost lakh rupees. So if she returns or she would talk to me about this, I can just be a little bit of help in marketing the agricultural produce. Regarding this saffron marketing, there is no problem across India because we only produce only the 20% of the total produce what normally is required in the Indian market. The rest of the produce comes from the Iran or from the Greece because we are the second largest producers in the world with only 15 tons, metric tons, what normally is produced. And marketing on the front, we are still the deficient. But our saffron mission, what normally is being initiated by the government of India, wherein we have to take the production even up to the level of the 30 metric tons per annum. But we are still away from that. But inshallah, within 2 or 3 years, we are going to scale that target. Any format would be having a problem. Only thing the sustainable cost of the farm for sustainable cost of the input is to be kept in the mind whether that lady who's cultivating the saffron under the control condition does match the cost of the return. Returns is 3 lakh rupees. If it is less than that, then it's okay. She should call me, she should talk to me. I'll help her in the marketing of it. There's no issue and no problem because I am otherwise dedicated myself for the farming and the farmers all across my nation, all across my farming community, across the nation, wherever they are staying. It's not a problem anytime, just a click away, just a phone away. I will be available to guide them, to help them in generating the farming, in generating the various skills, whatever normally they are required, and any technical input, whatever is required in having a sustainable output methodology to be. Hello.
Yes, sir. I will take up the next question, sir. Again, Mr. Mohan Rao is asking, which country imports saffron with huge volumes, and which country produces maximum quantity of saffron in the globe? Sir, you are able to hear me? Hello, Dr. Altaf?
Acreage, almost 15,000 hectares of land.
Sir, we lost your audio, sir.
And I am
Hello.
Hanji? Yes.
Yes, sir. Please repeat it, sir.
I'm telling you, Iran is the country which normally has the maximum acreage in the world. And India is the second largest producer and maintaining the second largest area across the world. India has a requirement of the 100 metric tons. And I produce max at this time, only 15 metric tons. And is a deficit of 85. And I am the biggest importer, what normally is required in various sectors, whether it will be medical sector, whether it will be pharmaceutical sector, whether it's fashion sector, or any other sector, what normally is, it has the requirements. It's being imported from the Iran. Since Iran is undergoing the United Nations sanctions, so we normally import it from Spain. Spain, though, is not a producer. They are not making a maximum acreage. India is
Hello. Hello.
the second largest producer in the world. So hello, do you listen to me? Hello, do you listen to me? Hello.
Yes, sir. Now we are able to hear. So
Okay.
Can you repeat the last sentence what you were speaking?
I'm saying
Hello. Sir, we lost your audio. Hello. No, sir, we are not able. Hello. Hello. Sir, can you please log out and log in again? Hello. Sir, we are not able to hear you. Hello. Hello. Sir, we can't hear you.
Just a minute, hold it on. I'll be just connected.
Okay.
Now you hear me?
Yeah. Now we can hear you. Okay.
You hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you now. I will move on to the next question, sir.
Okay.
In what ways do women's perspectives and approaches differ from men's in agribusiness management?
This is not both of them are having the equal opportunities. Both of them, only the mindset of the policies, plans, which normally are in empowering the woman and are making them successful entrepreneurs. In we have maintained the success stories wherein lead women.
Hello. Hello. Sir, we lost your audio.
Where is the lead? Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes.
Some
Please
problem with
continue. Yeah, network connection. There is an issue with network.
internet.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an issue on the net connection.
Okay. Please proceed, sir.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Did
Yes, sir. Shall I
you
move
listen?
on?
Did you hear me?
Now I
Yeah.
can hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
Yes.
move on to the next one, sir. What role does education and skill development play in enhancing women's participation in agri businesses?
In fact, the agriculture business by the woman is only because their skills have been upgraded by the policies and plans that normally have been formally driven ministries, by the various ministries and at the planning committee. They're not normally for the NITI Aayog. This revolves all around the committee works. They always look after the various agricultural operations to their perfection and to their best. But no, and it garners very much interest. It garners interest in helping the people in getting the products value, their agricultural produce, having a value addition and branding and marketing in the local market with a tag that normally which is acceptable economically to them. Now, skill development processes which normally we have been initiated at the grassroots level and which upgrade the skill of the woman and empowers them with the skill what normally is required in the value chain and also in the production campaigns. But it is very important that as and when you will be having a maximum production, then and then only a part of it will be just shifted towards the value. It normally value you can increase the shelf life of that produce and shelf life maintain the shelf life of that produce. It normally all of that woman farmers. Henceforth, it is going to help in a long way to increase their to increase their or interest basically of the product normally that food products because of the wrong storage and yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We have now completed the round of questions on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. We like to thank Dr. Altaf Aijaz Andrabi for the talk and for answering the questions. I like to also thank all the participants in the meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you.